Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Questioning a better way, one gracefully disruptive conversation at a time.
Welcome to Turmeric and Tequila. I'm excited to be with you today. We're doing something new. This is part 2. Hopefully you just listened to part 1 with Nizhoni Smocks, and we are going to talk about youth scene right now. So go listen to part 1 if you haven't already. Quick shout out to our sponsors, Lux Neuro, offering neurofeedback and counseling where your heart and mind align. For more information about what neurofeedback can do for you, listen to the neurofeedback stories of transformation in the middle of this podcast. Neurofeedback effectively treats everything from insomnia, anxiety, depression, trauma, ADHD, and much more. Optimize your brain. Check them out at luxneuro.com. Nizhoni Smocks, like I said, goes into the prior podcast to get the full 411, but she is going to share with us Youth Scene. This is an incredible local charity. It's Youth Scene envisions a society where people are empowered as individuals to access non-judgmental and unbiased treatment in every aspect of their lives, serving the LGBTQIA2 plus community. They encourage the creative creation of a community that celebrates everyone's worth, diverse characteristics, and dignity. So I had not heard about this organization, so I'm really excited to learn more. Nizhoni is, what is your role with them?
The finance director.
Okay. So give us the quick 411, and then I really want to talk about or make sure we cover what you guys are doing, but what you have going on right now. I want this to be able to be an entrance for anyone that doesn't know about it. And then obviously open up opportunity for them to get involved, which we'll get into like links and everything else as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So the mission of Youth Scene is to foster and empower the social and emotional well-being of LGBTQIA youth and their families and the communities. And through that, we have 4 programs. So we have the clinical team, which offers therapy, case management, basically to make you a whole person, because you have to treat every part of you. We also have Camp Scene, which is youth programming, ages 13 through 18. Part of that is our youth summer camp we do every July. It's amazing. Kids spend 7 days out in the wilderness, driving us crazy, and we love it. We also do, we have an event coming up with them, the Youth Queer Homecoming, which we do. This is our 2nd year doing it. It's a chance for kids to, just experience, what it would be like to have, a school dance without judgment. And it's been really amazing. We also, part of that is Fashion Scene. We had our very first youth fashion show. So the kids spent a couple weeks designing, their own work, upcycling, things like that. And they had to model it in front of everybody. We did a full show, which was really amazing. Hey. Then we also have Trans Scene, which is gender affirming care and sexual health. With that program, we have support groups. If you need any harm reduction kits, such as Narcan, fentanyl strips, things like that, condoms, we got you. And then also like working with like Name Change Project to help you through that process. If you do need to change your name for any reason, we want to make sure you're supported through that. And lastly, Black Pride Colorado, which I am a founding member. We started in 2021. So our mission through Black Pride Colorado is to bring empowerment, arts, and culture to the community. All are welcome. I know a lot of people get intimidated when they see Black before anything, but all people are welcome. We do a lot of work with the ballroom community, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, that's Youth Scene in a nutshell. And I've been the finance director for 2 years now. And before that, I was the operations director for the 2 years before that.
Oh, okay. So you have been with them for a while. And this is a massive leap from some of the major corporations that you were with prior. What was it? I know you said in our prior conversation that, we were seeking something more in depth and more purposeful. Was that part of you taking this job? Was that part of you seeking more of an in-depth purpose or impactful role in this world?
Absolutely. So I, like I said, I worked in corporate. I was at Lyft at the time when I met Dr. Tara J. Like I said, we sat next to each other at a bar. We looked at each other, stopped talking, and then we connected. A couple months later, and we're like, "Hey, let's see what we can do." Because I want to help people. Like that's my mission, and I actually got that work ethic from my grandmother, Elizabeth James. Monday was the 4-year anniversary of her passing. We lost her in 2020.
Sorry.
And just the way that she worked and she helped people, because she worked for the workforce. I can't think of the full name, but in Chinle, she used to run one of the workforce offices and like giving people opportunities, saying, school, Job Corps, things like that. And just having, as a kid, like I would go in and help her. So I'd be on the typewriter, typing up her notes and things like that. And so I got really used to that type of work and just how grateful it was to have somebody who brought, jobs to a job desert and a food desert, and that's where that came from. Like, I just knew I wanted to help people. I knew that whatever I was going to be a part of had to be bigger than me. Like, I love to make money, of course, but like, if it doesn't feed my spirit, it doesn't make sense. So that's how I got connected with Youth Scene. And I always used to get in trouble. I'll say this. So I've had jobs where, there would be like a temp force that I would be responsible for. And I'd always be told or reprimanded, why do you care so much?
Oh,
I'm like, well, Johnny is unproductive. It's because XYZ, because they actually talk to me and they tell me what's going on or why they're not going to be on shift today or whatever. So it's just really important to connect with people. And I think it's unfortunate that people think that you cannot work with people and have a connection. Like, there has to be a hard boundary. Like, like either I don't care about you or I care about you. Like, there can absolutely be the gray. Like, you can still treat somebody and care for somebody and they can still work for you and be productive. So I find that really difficult. But yeah, I honestly I want to help people. And I found myself in this very unique position where I could leverage my, my skills and talent, my capabilities, I'll even say my privileges, to uplift the LGBT community.
It's extraordinary. This is what I actually love about social media or podcasting is sometimes it's not just like a quick conversation. You can have this opportunity to dig in a little bit more and share more of the scope of what's going on, because I actually think there are a lot of people that do care out there. And usually the problem is like, and there's groups that are showing up to help groups of people, but there's sometimes this disconnect. I'm like, well, how do we merge the two? How do we connect the two? How do we, get them to know, to understand that this is an option, or there are, this community here, this support groups here. Like, there's a lot that's just disconnected. And I will say this, being as a Colorado local, born and raised, a lot of things are still really siloed. There's creative community in one part, and then activist community in one part, and then women's sports or whatever over here. Like, and we're still not super merged. So this is what I love social media or podcasting, because you can have the full conversation, people can hear and then dig in for themselves. And it's even better, like I said in our prior convo, that you can come to the table with these really in-depth ethos and experience, in addition to your formal education and whatnot. Like, you have childhood experience and things that you can't learn out of a book or in school that you can bring to the table that now you can use to your advantage to help, specific humans and organizations and cultures and whatnot. What is like some of the specific outreach that you guys do to get into the community, or to let people know that you're out there, and that just to further your own brand awareness? I hate to put a business label on it, but that's really what it is.
Yeah. So we do have social media. We're still not reaching the people we need to through that. Because a lot of so we help all ages, I'll say that. But also with that comes the one, somebody needs to be comfortable, like being out. There's a lot of people who are not comfortable being out. So they may not seek us out because, one, they may not know about us, but also they don't know who they are yet, or they're not willing to admit who they are. So they're not going to seek that out because they don't want to draw unnecessary attention. So social media is a big one. Word of mouth, we get a lot of referrals that way. Like right now we're working with the local ballroom community, and we're, helping a lot of people who didn't even know about us other than, we throw a ball every September. Right. And that's with, rental assistance, navigating victim services, things like that. We also are working really hard to strengthen our partnership with Denver Public Schools. It's very difficult, believe it or not, to get into the system to actually reach children. which is great, but it's also like, hey, we've been waving our arms for like, 3 years. So we're actually getting into a space where we can provide original programming, such as our Queer Joy workshop, where it's just like, hey, like, you're not alone in this. Like, really, there are other people in this room who may not know what they're feeling yet or how to process that. So we're here to help. We also do a lot of work with the drag community. So a lot of the founding members of Black Pride Colorado are amazing drag performers here in town. And so they've been able to leverage their platform to reach people. So you should come out. Black Pride does amazing show. So our Black Excellence Week is usually the week before Juneteenth. So we have a gala at the Botanic Gardens, couple drag shows, we do dinners. We actually started doing stuff like conscious consumption. So we did a yoga edition. That was really cool. We have a queer cookout, basically a family resource day. We did that this year with Denver Film at Sea Film Center, which is really nice. We did a lot of works with Tracks Denver. We actually, really cool, this year, we got the proclamation from the city. So June 14th is Black Pride Colorado Day.
Oh, okay.
So that was really awesome to like sign that in front of everybody at the gala. But yeah, we do what we can. We are a very small team. We only have 9 people. And some people are part-time. So it's really difficult to be everywhere we need to be. But also it's like we can only handle so much. So we're trying to figure out how to better work with other organizations who are doing similar work. Because, you can't do everything and be great at it. So how can we leverage those things? But also, at the end of the day, it comes down to funding. Funding is a huge piece. I didn't realize until I got into the finance director role how important and how strict funding can be, especially when you're dealing with federal dollars. And so that's always a challenge. So we've been very fortunate. So I have an amazing grant writer on our team as well. And it's also really disheartening sometimes because we have to quantify queer joy because a lot of funders want to focus on the trauma. I'm like, no, like part of healing is joy. Like we don't need to sit in a circle in a dark room to get better. Like we need to connect with people. We need to go to the museum. We need to dance. We need to do these different things to heal and build community. And funding is a huge part of that. And we do our best. But also, we have some connections with like RMPM, The Drop, Outfront Magazine. So we've been doing our best to exhaust those things, but I feel like we also could do better with partnering with other organizations. But again, there's unfortunately a stigma because we do what we do. And especially now with like the legislation against like, trans folks and trans kids in particular, it's been very interesting to have those conversations with folks who, were more forthcoming before, but now they're like, yeah, no, I can't do it now. So it's just, but yeah, we reach people everywhere. We're trying out flyers, like the old school on, phone poles and things like that. So
I love it. Right back to the street team, right? Yeah. That's what I grew up with. Yeah. I love it. It's, so much of, I worked with Barbells for Booze back in the day. It's like a fitness charity around breast cancer. And it's funny that everything kind of does go back to business and you do have to like put some label on it. But one piece that I really did want to pull out, because this came on our first conversation, is just this idea that people are happy and like celebrating this idea that like you don't always have to live in this drudgery and work. And that's kind of the mindset I grew up with, which is a whole other podcast. But the best thing I ever did was I didn't consciously make a move like you. I wasn't that forthcoming, but I had lacrosse, like sports was my way out of things. And then my world just opened up. And I always laughed like I'm an intentional human, but I'm air quoting if you're listening to this, but the universe has like drugged me through, universe, God, Madonna, whatever you believe, things without me choosing. So it's like, it's forced me in a direction that I'm like, oh shit, I did need that. So thank you, whoever's looking out. But I this intentionality with dollars, celebrating the happiness or holding space for things happy. I really do think that is a lot of young people's and all people's story, that they don't believe people are happy. Like happiness doesn't actually exist. And to me, that's one of the darker conversations or more heavy, morbid conversations that's probably even worse or more intentional or more intense than like thinking about your own obituary, like thinking no one's actually happy. I don't know. So celebrating those opportunities and holding funds for that, I can see how it's hard to get. And then on the flip side, it's so deeply important and even weird that it's still kind of a weird conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, we should help people where they're at. And some people, they just need somebody to talk to,
Yeah.
or ask them how their day is. And that could be, life-saving fundamentally. Like it literally can make a difference. And, connecting with people is really important, whether, of course, in person's, the best way generally, but like virtually, like Discord, even a text line, calling people, like we try our best to reach people, but also like on their comfort level. Cause like it's just, you don't want to be calling people all the time and people don't want to be on the phone, but we try to provide different spaces and opportunities for people to be involved. Like, hey, we're doing this, you can come. Like it's, we basically, I'll say 99.9% of everything we do is free to the community, which is rare, and sometimes we have to charge, like $10 or something. But it's just really important because we do our best to bring in, the best people that we can to uplift the message and further the mission.
Hi there. This is Laura Mahoney from Lux Neuro, Neurofeedback and Counseling. We are bringing you stories of transformation each podcast. Imagine how we can transform your life. Long COVID. I had COVID a few years ago. It was the worst, during and especially after. I never fully recovered from COVID until I started neurofeedback. It turns out I had long COVID, which for me meant napping 2 to 4 times a day. It was debilitating, so much so that I lost my life. My relationship suffered, and I even lost the small business that I loved and I owned. I serendipitously found neurofeedback, and it has absolutely transformed my life. After COVID, napping was a part-time job, taking up to 20 hours or more per week of my time. After starting neurofeedback treatments, my fatigue went away, and with it, the napping. I am so happy to say that I am now present in my life and no longer take naps. I love connecting with my family and friends again, and I have time to be with them. I also am now looking for a job, something that I didn't think would ever happen again. Feeling trapped and hopeless in my life has been replaced with a lust for life, and I can't wait to see what my future holds. All thanks to neurofeedback.
That's amazing. And I will ask at one point at the end, how we do get involved if somebody wants to get involved or recommend, your organization for someone that they know. But give us an example of like some of the events. You kind of give us a 10,000-foot view of, the fashion week and whatnot. That sounds really awesome. But give us an idea of like who's coming up to these events, like how big are they? Like paint the scene a little bit.
Yes. So our youth fashion show, Fashion Scene, we had like 75 people. So,
Okay.
Includes adults, the kids, their families. It was really cool. It was pretty full. Like it was our first one. So we're like, oh no, are people coming? Which is always nerve-wracking or anything. But it turned out really beautiful. And the kids had an amazing time. There's great photos. Liz, our amazing communications manager, just does an amazing job. She also is our photographer. So, and she does all the social media stuff. So she captured amazing things for that. So that's usually happens in the spring. We have June, like I said, our Black Excellence Week. We can see anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 people that week, depending on what we're doing. So we literally do like 6 days of events in a row, back to back to back. So
that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah. So we're really exhausted, but it's really fun. And we try to find, we do something for everybody. Like you can bring your kids on one thing and you can do this. If you want to drink, if you want to smoke, like, we try to find, a happy medium, or just if you just want to be outside. Like that's one thing, a big thing we try to do is, get people of color in nature. So get outside. Here's a safe space, like great music, things like that, great food. And also to introduce amazing things. So Black Excellence Week is our, a big flagship week as well. In our summer camp, ages 13 through 18, we fluctuate between like 20 and 14 campers every year. So the kids, like we have some kids who've been with us since day one, and UC was founded in 2017, and we just celebrated the 7th anniversary on the 14th of August. So we're doing amazing things at this milestone. But yeah, those are kids who, like I said, some who've been with us from the beginning, some who are brand new, some kids, who were at our fashion program who, like, hey, like they loved it and their family loved it. So they brought, and then somebody brings somebody and somebody brings somebody. We've had, referrals from all kind of different places, some from schools. So that's, it's just amazing. Then we bring in amazing people to facilitate. People volunteer their time. We have an amazing, I'll never say amazing core group of volunteers who literally, like, I wish we could hire them. It's just, they just show up any and everything we need. Thank you so much. We could not do this without you. And then that was in July. And our biggest event of the year is the Black Fantasy Ball. This will be our 4th. And the theme is Mile High Stampede.
Okay.
So we bring in the biggest and the best. Not sure if you're familiar with ballroom, but I'm sure if you've seen Pose, anything like that. And it's just so much fun. We give out a lot of money for and people bring their best.
Okay.
It's just last year we had Dominique Jackson come out.
Hey, okay.
That's
wild.
Yeah.
I mean, did you just like shoot out DMs, or do you have someone that knows someone? Like, these are like big names to secure.
Yeah, we work really, really hard. And I'll also say my very first summer camp in 2021, we had Angela Davis come and speak to the kids.
Okay.
And I died on the inside in the best way possible. So like we have amazing people in our network who are like, oh yeah, I know somebody, I'll go ask, and a lot of people are willing to donate their time, believe it or not, if you just ask, like, hey, so like, yeah, we going back to the ball, like it's going to be really huge. It's at Mile High Station on Saturday, September 28th. I don't want to lie to you. Okay. And it's going to be so much fun. And then leading up to that, we have an event called In Conversation with Twiggy Poochie Garcon and Michael Roberson on Thursday, September 26th. We have a film screening called The Ball with Denver Film on Friday, September 27th. And both of those events are at the Holiday Theater, owned by the MCA now. So we're doing those events there. And like I said, Saturday is the ball, the big event. It's going to be lots of fun. All the categories are up. If you're in the ballroom, you know where to find us. We're going to be working with some of our great partners in the city to make it happen. And it's just a wonderful, amazing event. It's just so much fun. Like I walked my first ball last year, and I did not win overall, but I got I got my 10s in the female category. So I was really excited for that.
Wow.
So I never in a million years would thought I would have done that.
I was gonna say, that's an intimidating situation because, like, I mean, you're out there, like,
yeah, and it was like it was Sex Siren. I was like,
okay,
like I looked at the category, I'm like, I'm not gonna get chopped for the outfit, so let's go. So I just literally, like, I was like, I ran up there and I was like, and it was very invigorating. Never done anything like that in my life. And then following the ball, we're going to have, like I said, the youth queer homecoming. It's October 5th. If you follow us on social media, there's a registration link, and you can sign up for that. And then for the rest of the year, we kind of coast and we catch up and we prepare for next year. And we do a lot of different things. It's just it's one of the most exciting things about youth scene is like not every day is the same in a good way. Mm-hmm. And we're always meeting new people and new connections and finding really innovative ways to build community.
I love it. All I want to say is, like, this feels like a church I want to be part of, like self-expression, community getting together, you're celebrating different things. And it's a lot of intentional humans like chasing something bigger. So I don't know what the definition of church is, but that's what it is to me.
Yeah.
So this feels like something I want to be in the mix of. I got to ask, because if you're new to ballroom, whatnot, Pose was certainly like one of my better entrances and exposure to it. And there's another documentary. I'm a documentary nerd. I think Paris is Burning. It was
Yes, and Kiki as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're not, I think documentaries are extraordinarily powerful if you don't have access or exposure to get into some things. But Pose, I mean, it's the original. I'm a big Madonna fan. All the music is like 80s baby, 90s kid, and it's voguing before Madonna. Madonna even talks about that. Like, it's really cool. Is there a big ballroom scene in Denver, Colorado?
Yeah, it's actually flourishing.
Okay.
And the people here in town, like, they do an amazing job. They travel. It's really expensive if you think about it too, because if you have to fly to New York or LA, and you have to have your effect just right, and so it takes a lot. And a lot of people are super creative. They make a lot of things, from scratch, from secondhand, upcycling, things like that. I'm not a part of a house or anything like that, but I definitely support everybody who's doing the best that they can to bring joy to the community. But yeah, it's up and coming for sure.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's extraordinary. And no, the intentionality, and it is a commitment, and all of it is like a production. And to do that on the regular, even just your body as an athlete, like, I was like, oh my God, the knees, the back, like all of it. So, and good for you for getting out there. Are you guys selling tickets for the ballroom event?
Yes.
Okay.
Tickets are online through Eventbrite. I don't know. We're doing pre-sale right now. I'm not sure what those are, unfortunately. But yeah, go to Eventbrite. Everything is up there. It's going to be an amazing event. Tickets will be available at the door as well. It's a beautiful venue.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited. So
that's huge. Okay, well, see here, I try and keep my finger on the pulse of many things, but there's so many things moving. We got to do a better job. So these are really important conversations. Where do we find Youth Scene, tags, websites? What's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Yes, so Youth Scene on IG, Facebook, TikTok. I'm not a TikToker, but it's out there. You can also follow Black Pride Colorado, all the socials, everything, all the handles. Even Black Pride Colorado.org, as well as youthscene.org. We're out there. Just Google us. You'll find us.
There you go. And I want to two questions. I didn't ask you this in the first one, which we'll get to, but you really talk about, it's important to be an ally, but really show up and get involved. I actually believe there are a lot of people out there that really do care and want to get involved, and they kind of just don't know what to do, or are intimidated, or whatever the narrative is. But what is, being an ally, like, in your opinion, what's the best way to be an ally, or what's a first step to go one step further to really support different communities, or anything that's not like yourself, or anything you're passionate about that you want to support and get intentionally in the mix of? Absolutely.
So when I first started with Youth Scene, I had an amazing conversation with Goddess. They used to work at Inside Out Youth Services in Colorado Springs. And she told me, like, don't be an ally. Because I asked the question, how do I be a good ally? She's like, no, you don't want to be an ally. You want to be an accomplice. An accomplice gets their hands dirty. An accomplice, puts their body on the line. An accomplice goes to jail if they have to. An accomplice is willing to do the work as if it was for themselves. And I've carried that with me throughout my entire career with Youth Scene. So I always knew what that was, but I'm like, oh, because an ally, I feel, is passive in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, here's $2, right? No, but an accomplice is there raising the money, selling the cookies, like whatever you need to do. And the accomplice is there, like, hey, like if there is a protest, they're out there on the front line. So it's really important that you are active in the things that you care about, especially with the way things are going with government and policy and things like that. Like, you have to show up for people that you care about. If you see something, say something. But yeah, definitely some of the best ways to support any organization is financially. If you can donate, do whatever you can. $1 here. If you got the money, $10,000 would be amazing too.
Let's go.
Also volunteering, whether, you can, show up for an hour, if you can donate overnight, whatever, just give your time. It's just really important. However you can show up. Also, if you have amazing stuff around your house that you need to get rid of, people will take that as well. Also, if you're a business, like if you have any goods or service, you can donate. Like, we can raffle those things off. We can auction them. Like that helps us as well. Or if you're able to, provide a space for us to come in and do something there. Like, venue space is really hard to come by lately in Denver. We're always trying to find different spaces to do things that can fit a lot of people. that isn't going to break the bank. So if you have a amazing warehouse that's empty most of the time, hey, like we would love to come in and take it over and do something amazing with it. But yeah, those are some ways that you can definitely help. And also just advocating where you can. If you have an ear of somebody important, like, just, figure out a way to spread the message that everyone has the right to, dignity and a livelihood and respect. And, why aren't we, making that happen for everybody?
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing all those. I think those are great. And I love that you guys are, opening up to some of these other creative avenues, taking in items and goods and auctioning and like just making it work. Cause I think that a lot of opportunities lost when we just get super siloed, and this is one way to fundraise, one way to do it. And there's all these other things. And it opens up the door for people. Maybe I don't have money, but I got a nice couch, or I got, a Versace dress that I could never afford. I don't, but one day. Anyway, so I think it's important to like have those open avenues, and don't sleep on like the social, you met your friend that got you involved with this at the bar. Like the social situation is so powerful, and just talking about it and being passionate and like opening the energy up. Like I don't know. I think the social is a powerful thing for some of the best things to come in and support the cause. So get in it. And the power of showing up. I like the term accomplice and being in the mix, but showing up to me is the most important thing, period. I think that's something that I sought out in my youth. So it's important for me as an adult that you're in it, like just show up, whatever it is, however you can.
Yeah. It means the world. If you can't be there in person, you can always do something.
Yes.
Share the post, invite people, like whatever you need to do. It's just really important to know that it's out there.
Yeah. And that stuff does add up. You never know who's going to see it, whatnot. All right. Final question. I didn't ask you this in our prior interview, but this for youth scene or for yourself, what is success to you?
I say for youth scene, it is increasing our budget and growing our staff. We need all the hands we can get, but also it's contingent upon funding. So that would be the big thing. Like, cause there's so much, our team is so amazing and gives so much of themselves, like, nights, weekends, days, just it's insane. And there are many more people, like I said, are amazing volunteers who show up, and we would love to put them on payroll if we can, if that's what they want. But yeah, so growing our team, growing our budget, growing our volunteer base, being able to just reach people everywhere. Whatever's, if we have capacity to knock on doors, I'm sure we may get there one day, who knows, or we may not want to. But yeah, just reaching more people. And then I know, like, I think the grander vision is to go national at some point. But that's gonna, we need to get it going. And for me, that actually is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Because I thought it looked one way. Now it's peace. I want to wake up and not have to stress about, oh my God, how am I going to pay rent? Not that I'm there, but, like, it's just like, I just want peace. I want to, like, okay, I am in control of my day as much as I can be. And that's the most important thing. Like, I'm healthy. I can do what I need to do for the day. And I'm able to find joy in it and share what I have with those I love. So that's what it looks like. But also to have work that's fulfilling, who knows where I'll be in 5 years, 10 years, next year, who knows? But I just want to know that I've done the best that I could have, and I've left things better than I found it. So I know that's very up in the air, not a straight answer, but yeah, I just want to make an impact and find, my joy, whatever that looks like in the moment.
I think that's awesome. I mean, holding space to let go and let things kind of happen for you. I do think it's hard to let God, universe, Madonna show up for you and just believe that it's going to come. You can't sit there, but I do think when you're a good human doing good things, it will come in if you just hold it. And I'm saying that to you, but I'm saying it to me because I'm not, gives me anxiety thinking about that, but it's real. And just to be useful. Like, I think that's more than enough to leave impact and be, part of the solution. So yeah, I love it. Well, I thank you for your time and energy. We covered a lot today. Please go. Nizhoni's had incredible coverage from PBS to Colorado Voices. Like, they're coming at you. So I think that's extraordinary. Things are showing up. Your voice is out there. I hope you continue to do public speaking or whatever the avenue that fits the heart. I think I really hope you continue to share the gospel, and go please check out Youth Scene. I love what the organization's doing. I can't believe the ground you all are covering is 9 humans and all the events. So I hope you guys all take a moment to be like, all right, we're out here doing it, and just momentarily take the gold star, pat on the back, and then right back in it. But it's a big deal. So go check what they've got going on. I thank you for your time and energy. I'm going to give a little love to our sponsors, and we will catch you in our next show. Lux Neuro is a neurofeedback, and they are looking for you. They effectively treat everything from insomnia, anxiety, depression, trauma, ADHD, and much more. If you are looking to connect with them, check out luxneuro.com and schedule a consultation. Again, thank you for joining me, and we will see you on an episode soon. Cheers.
Thank you for joining Turmeric and Tequila with your host, Kristen Olson. Tune in next time, and don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.